Good morning, everybody. You'll have to excuse I didn't get much sleep last night. Not that I was up watching the Super Bowl. I wasn't. I was asleep by 9 o'clock, or at least 9:30. We did watch Godzilla last night, but then that was on Comet TV. And then I went to sleep, but I have some pain in my foot due to gout, and I heard that just before I went to sleep, and I slept for a few hours and then woke up in pain and had some difficulty with that, but I did get up. I'm on my way to work, and God willing, I'm hoping I'll be at work on time, which it looks like I'm making good time right now. I'm king of fraud. So anyway, someone asked me last week, I help out with a program where we have an internship program with actually a Christian seminary, Eastern Orthodox Christian seminary, that's nearby the prison, and the students who are learning to become priests, or some of them already are ordained priests, but they're getting their degrees and whatever they need, their master's degree in the seminary, MDiv degree, in order to serve as parish priests in the Orthodox Church, the OCA, Orthodox Church of America, or other Orthodox churches. And one of the young men there, who already is ordained a priest recently in that church, one of the differences between the Catholic Church is that the priests, as long as they're married before their ordination, they may be married priests, and in general they like to send married priests to the churches. In any event, so this priest, he asked me, Rabbi, tell me, you're in a very non-Jewish environment. And he was telling me he found out on his father's side they had some Jewish ancestry also anyway. That's neither here nor there. He asked me, how do you deal with that? Being outside of your bubble. And I didn't even blink. My answer was the Shir HaYichud. I said, we have a group of 7 hymns that have mostly been lost, this old practice of reciting every day. So in addition to our regular liturgy that we all recite, it used to be in the Ashkenazi communities that either before prayers or after prayers every day, the community would recite the Shir HaYichud for that day of the week, each of the 7 days of the week. And they'd say Kaddish afterwards. I didn't explain all of that part of it. And this practice has pretty much been lost. I don't even know if among the Yekisha communities if they still have this practice. I know in the Hungarian Hasidic communities, a lot of them on Shabbos will say the one for Shabbos, but usually as part of the Shabbos Smiros. Like for example in Satmar, after the Tish, after benching, pretty much the end of the Tish is the Shir HaYichud for Shabbos. And my Rebbe, Kalavar Rebbe, usually uses that as he should have for Shlema as Smiros for Shabbos day. And I saw it, in other places, Spinka and other places that to use it, just the Shabbos one. But the weekday ones, a lot of people will say it, all 7 on the night of Yom Kippur. That's a very popular practice. The Satmar Rebbe had an interesting practice of, during Sfira, each Shabbos, the 7 Sheva Shabbosos, to recite by the Shabbos day meal, by the lunch meal, to recite one of those, meaning the first one, which is usually Chol HaMoed, Shabbos Chol HaMoed Pesach, to recite the one for Sunday, and then the next Shabbos, the Shlisel Chalal Shabbos, right? The one for Monday, and then the next one for Tuesday, and then the Shabbos one would be the Shabbos before Shavuos. But daily recital, I don't know if a lot of people still do this, but it is an old classical Ashkenazic tradition that was lost, and I find myself in that I work with people of various religions, pagans, and indigenous peoples, Christians, Muslims, all different types. That has helped me stay grounded in this devotion, just for me personally, has helped me stay grounded for the past few years. I think for the last 2 or 3 years, I've been, sometimes I might miss a day, and then I make it up the next day, say that 2 of them together, and I don't think I've done that more than 10 times over the last couple of years. But Baruch Hashem, I'm very happy that I've still been able to keep this. It's something that's mentioned in the poskim, even the Mishnah Berurah mentions this practice. So even, we get into the 20th century, and it was still something that was practiced, and why this has disappeared, I don't exactly rightly know. Again, I guess people are just lazy. They don't, that's kind of what it comes down to, even though I know some people question the authorship and this and that. But nonetheless, if you don't have a theological issue with this, which I don't see how you could really have an authentic problem with anything that's in these 7 hymns. Nonetheless, essentially, I can understand that you're going to say that it's Tircha de Tzibura, and that it's not something we're going to do in a minyan, although I would like to see it reinstated as it was in the old days. But nonetheless, as a personal devotion, I do think it should be brought back. I've been really strongly thinking I want to put together a book about this song, and I think sometime last year or 2 years ago, I actually went through all 7 and sang them here on the YouTube channel. But the point that I want to bring out is how much it has helped me personally stay grounded in my faith. And I encourage people who are looking for some chizuk to consider, even if you're not going to do it every day, but to study these 7 songs, to at least go through all of them at least once in your life. And if you can do them every day, I can't promise any segulas of, a shiras or gezunt or anything from the recitation. But I think they are good tools to help us in our Emunah. And I think that is essential. That's more important than any materialistic segula, rather to have something that can help you with your Shemayim and inspire you to have Tevekis to Kadosh Baruch Hu. And to me, it helps me, because I'm Oisik in the Daled Meos Prokim of this of Maseches Avodah Zarah of Avram Avinu, so to speak. That as my parnosa, that it's valuable to have some more chizuk in a classical way. Of course, we say Kriya Shema, everything else, but this is a very classical work that talks about the unity of God, and it's a tremendous source of chizuk. Even if you say it, and you don't, even though part of the reason why people don't say it is so you have to have kavanah with it. let's say one of the stanzas each day, you say the whole thing, and there's one stanza that grabs you, inspires you, and helps you emotionally. For that, I think it's worth it. Other people might disagree. Feel free to disagree. But I'm just telling you, this has helped me. And like I said, when this Galach asked me this question, this priest asked me this question, that was my immediate answer. It was a visceral answer that this is what helps me stay Jewish in a non-Jewish environment. And I know a lot of folks, they work in different things. You know, one of our friends, he's Isaac in the same thing that the Rebbe Melech was Isaac in. The Rebbe Melech saw that people weren't having kavanah in davening, so he wanted to make a shorter version of the Siddur. A friend of ours was watching, he knows I'm talking to him. And this way people should have more kavanah, because the halacha is toiv ma'ad kavanah meharbe b'lei kavanah. Maisa goes that the people from Anshe Knesset Gedola came to the Rebbe Melech. Somebody saw this, and they were very tall in this vision, and they told him, no, you cannot take apart the liturgy that we've given, even though the truth is a lot of the things we have are not necessarily what the Anshe Knesset Gedola gave, historically speaking. But archetypically, the Siddur that we have is archetypically from the Anshe Knesset Gedola. And rather than making the davening shorter as a means to help people have kavanah, their eitzah was, the advice was the Rebbe Melech should compose the tefillah kodim l'tefillah, and there are different versions of the tefillah kodim l'tefillah. But nonetheless, that's essentially the essence of what we're talking about here, is that we should be able to have more in our davening and not less. And the same thing here. I think, even this is much older than the Rebbe Melech's tefillah kodim l'tefillah, people who are looking for chizuk and kavanah aid and so forth, I think the Shir HaYichud is a valuable tool that can help people to grow in their Yireh Shamayim and have more kavanah in davening, and we should all be gebenched to be matzliach and all of these things, and the B'nai Shalom should help us to have Emunah, betochen, and to learn Torah and have more Yireh Shamayim, especially in this, we're at the end of the Yemei Shevavim, and I know myself, I haven't really accomplished much during this time, but we should work on it together, and like in the tefillah kodim l'tefillah, the Rebbe Melech hafech v'nesenim shein l'schus, the B'nai Shalom should help us do tshuva me'ahava. So whatever averos we did should be turned around and be schus, not in an antinomian way, but in a way of authentic Yireh Shamayim, and in that way we can be zeicher to the big hasagas that we're supposed to have. Thank you for watching. God bless. Please like, share, and subscribe. Comment. I'm sorry that I'm tired. We'll see you later. Take care. How do I turn this thing off?